Today, we have Sade Roberts. She is our assistant flag women's football coach. Okay? And I'm going to let her explain who she is and what she does and why she does it. And then I'm going to let her talk about the topic of the mental health like we discussed in class. Afterwards, you'll get a little bit of time to do some questions. She'll be answering questions, and then we'll have a short talk before we discuss. All right? Do you want this out of the way? Or?
No, that's fine. That's fine. Do you want to move?
I just, whatever. I'm just going to go back and make sure that I've got you on video.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. You'll do great. Thank you very much. Class, Coach Sade Roberts.
Again, my name is Sade Roberts. I was born and raised in Oklahoma City. After graduating high school, I went to the Army. I spent a little bit of time in the Army and moved back to Oklahoma. From there, I obtained 2 associate's degrees, and I became the owner of the Oklahoma City Lady Force women's professional football team. I do this because this is my passion. I played football since I was a little girl, and it's just something that I love to do. The topic we are talking about is mental health. So, coaching and playing and leading all require more than physical ability. They demand resilience, focus, and an unshakable mindset. I stand before you today, not just as a coach, but as a player, a player's coach, and a motivator. I understand the struggles firsthand, running a women's football team, making tough decisions that upset people, balancing family while being away. I'm away from my family. My family is 5 hours away. And dealing with and overcoming the pressures, it's a lot. And I know that I'm not the only one carrying the burden of the world on my shoulders, and that's what it feels like. Let's talk about the mental toll of leadership and competition. The burden of responsibility, how coaches and players carry expectations, handling criticism, setbacks, and failures. The unseen struggles behind every decision. Coaching and playing at a high level comes with enormous expectations. As athletes, you are expected to perform, and as coaches, we are expected to lead. But who teaches us how to handle failure? How to carry the blame when things don't go right? I had to cancel our season this year because we didn't have enough quality players to play on the field. Meaning, I had a lot of little girls instead of a lot of big girls. And so I didn't want to put my 130-pound females on the line to go up against 6'2", 280-pound women. So I had to do what was best for the team. But I also faced a lot of backlash. I got questioned about my leadership from the Women's Football Alliance. But I had to do what was best for my players. So sometimes we have to make those tough decisions so that we can move forward and keep ourselves intact mentally and physically. Handling pressure is, you have to have a champion's mindset. Pressure is a privilege, embracing the expectations. The difference between those who break and those who rise. Learning to control what you can and let go of what you can't. The best players and coaches don't crumble under pressure, they embrace it. The weight of expectations doesn't have to be a burden, it can be fuel. The key is controlling what you can and not wasting energy on what you can't. I can't control the backlash that I receive, but I can control how I handle it and how I move forward. The same applies to every athlete who misses a shot, fumbles a ball, or loses a game. You control the next play, not the last mistake. The power of resilience, bouncing back from adversity. Resilience isn't about avoiding failure, it's about rising after it. Every great athlete has faced a defining moment. As you all know, Michael Jordan was cut from his high school team. Kobe Bryant airballed a shot in playoffs in high school. They could have quit, but they didn't. And for me, being away from my family, handling criticism, balancing school and coaching, it wears on me. But quitting is not an option. You will all face moments where you feel like you can't go on. The question is, will you rise or will you fold? Managing stress and mental health, the importance of mental health for athletes and coaches. Strategies for managing stress, anxiety, and burnout. Seeking support, and why toughness doesn't mean suffering in silence. We talk a lot about physical toughness, but what about the mental toughness? It doesn't mean ignoring your struggles, it means facing them head on. Athletes and coaches need coping mechanisms like meditation, journaling, therapy, and leaning on your teammates. I've had nights where I felt overwhelmed, questioning if I was making the right choices. But ignoring stress only leads to burnout. Mental toughness means knowing when to push through and when to step back and reset. Overcoming self-doubt and negative thoughts. That inner voice you hear, battling self-doubt and imposter syndrome, reframing failures as lessons, daily mental exercises to build that confidence. We often are our own biggest critics. How many times have you doubted yourself after a mistake? That voice in your head that says you're not good enough or you're failing. It's a lie. I've heard the voices when things went wrong, but I refuse to let doubt dictate my future. You have to reframe your failures as lessons, not defeats. Every day, challenge the negative voice. Build mental habits that reinforce confidence. The role of leadership and mental strength. Coaches set the tone, players feed off our energy. Leading with empathy and accountability, creating a culture where mental toughness is valued. As coaches, we set the emotional tone for our team. If we're rattled, our players will be rattled. If we lead with confidence, they believe in us. Leadership isn't just about strategy, it's about emotional intelligence. We need to create environments where players know their mental game matters as much as their physical skills. I've learned that leading with empathy, understanding what my players are going through, it builds trust and resilience within my team. Practical tools in strengthening the mental game. Visualization techniques, seeing success before it happens. The power of routines and discipline. Developing a personal mantra for your resilience. Mental training is just as important as physical training. Visualization is a powerful tool, seeing yourself succeed before it happens. And routines build consistency and control. And personal mantras, short phrases that reinforces your tough moments, can be a game changer. Mine is pressure is a privilege, but my favorite is wear your heart at. Because everything you do, especially if you care about it and you're passionate about it, you put your heart into it. So embrace the challenge that you go through mentally. Don't shut down, face it. Talk about it. Talk to your teammates. Talk to your coaches about it. We can't get through this by ourselves. We have to lean on somebody. So I want you to leave today knowing that mental strength is everything. Life will test you. Sports will test you. Coaching will test you. But every challenge is an opportunity to grow. When you feel like quitting, remember why you started. When you feel like you can't handle the pressure, remind yourself it's a privilege. Strengthen your mind, and there is nothing you can't overcome. Thank you, guys. My name is Sade Roberts again, and thank you for the opportunity for giving me a chance to talk. By the way, it was my first time talking in front of a group of people. So, do you guys have any questions?
Go ahead and take your questions out. Got something that pertains, go ahead and learn how to.
What do you do down your mental health outside of football?
I like to spend my time quiet. I'm a loner, so I just like to meditate. Meditate is my favorite. I can sit in a room all day and not have nothing on, but it clears my mind. Just talking to myself. You know, I always, it's self-accountability for me. Self-accountability. Could I have done something better? What should I have done? You know what I'm saying? I don't put the blame on nobody else. It always comes back to me, self-accountability. Anyone else?
How has mental health influenced the way you coach?
A lot, because everybody goes through something. And so you always have to be aware of your surroundings, people's feelings, people's emotions, because you know, emotions, it bleeds on everything. So just being aware, self-aware, and then aware of my teammates, and just being able to talk and communicate. No passing, no judgment, because everybody is dealing with their own life's pressures. So just offering help and receiving help when I can.
What will you do if one of your athletes is going through anything related with mental health?
Most of the time I sit and I talk with them. And sometimes I don't even talk, I just let them vent. Sometimes that's all they just need to just let some things off their chest so they can breathe. Just being there for one another. And just giving them that outlet. Doing your techniques like meditation and journaling. I do that as well. And so I also, you know, get them involved in that as well. So just like I said, just having them one-on-one and being a listening ear. Be there for them and do what you can for them.
What mentality do you want your players to adopt?
A dog mentality. That's what I want. I want all dogs. I like for my players to have accountability. I get players that come in and they feel entitled to something. They feel like they don't have to work for it. I'm not going to give you anything. You have to come in and work for it. I want somebody to come in. Coach, I don't need you to tell me what to do. I got it. I got it. Take initiative for yourself. Have that dog mentality because dogs don't do it.
What's the best part of working with your team?
I always try to create a family atmosphere, and so I think everywhere I go and every team that I've been a part of, we've always tried to have that family bonding, that family atmosphere, and so I think that's what makes it a really good. That's what makes it special for me because everywhere I go, I try to create that atmosphere, and so just creating that family structure. That bond can't be broken.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know you said that you meditate, but I was wondering, is there any other daily habits that you encourage your players to use to help deal with mental health?
Visualization. Just visualizing things that they go through and thinking about the decisions that they make, because ultimately the decisions that we make, they have consequences, right? And so we have to be able to make the right decisions so that those consequences that come back to us will do good for us. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, my question was, if you met somebody, I mean, or not even somebody, I don't know if you used to do that when you used to play football, but if you met yourself like some young person and you don't know the things that you know about mental health, what would you tell yourself in a situation that you're going through it?
Take a moment, pause, and breathe. Count, clear your head, and then come back. Because before I became level-headed, I was hot-headed. I got angry real fast. And so you have to be able to control those emotions, those feelings, so that it won't be passed on to somebody else and disrupt the atmosphere in which you're in. So just take a breather, pause, walk away for a moment, and then come back to it.
So you talked about like kind of wanting players with dog mentality, that kind of thing. How would you go about balancing like demanding performance and like kind of that toughness, but also sort of balancing that mental health side as well?
I think that expectations need to be set early. So right at the start, you got your expectations out of the way. And so I think after those expectations are set, it's easier to come and talk to a player about mental health. Just being, like I said, self-aware and aware of your player's mental. And so the communication is paramount. That's inevitable. You have to communicate. The players have to be able to talk to me just as me talking to them. But I can't fix it if I don't know what's going on. So communication is everything.
So to follow up on you looking at your players day-to-day, what are some things that you look for in your players' day-to-day mental health to notice if they're having a good day or a bad day?
Their demeanor, their mindset, their body language, everything. So my players come into the office and they look and say, hey, you're not your normal self. What's going on? Come sit down and talk to me. Let me know what's going on and how I can help. So again, it comes back to, just being aware.
In the middle of a game, like let's say one of your players isn't playing well, is the mental health of that player ever really a factor in a decision of, let's say, subbing them in or out or anything like that?
It could be, but when we're in game time situation, either you're gonna play or you're not. So being that, like you said, that dog, once you're in that moment, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. I buried my grandmother on game day. I buried my father on a game day. And so I had to go out there and perform for my sisters on the field. I still have to go out there and perform for the fans in the stands. Now, after I come off the field, yes, I'm gonna break down. I'm gonna think about it because my father's not up in the stands. But at the end of the day, I know that I got out there and I put my heart and soul into it. And I know that I made them proud. And so once you're out there, it's game on. It's game on.
So, when you've played good teams, what would you say you've noticed like mentally as you've seen them, like since you talked about the dog mentality, and like what would you notice in those good teams mentally?
Discipline. I'm gonna have to play today. I'm gonna have to get out my own way. I'm gonna have to play today. Sometimes, I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes on the field, and my sisters, they'll tell me, hey, excuse my French, get your head out your ass, and let's play. Let's play. And so you just gotta you gotta do what you gotta do. I don't wanna get cussed out. I don't wanna get sit on the bench. So, I've always been a type of player that you're not gonna outshine me on the field. I don't care how fast you are, how powerful you are, how good you are. It's gonna be me or you. I may lose one play, but I guarantee that we're gonna put up a fight. It's gonna be a fight. And you're gonna have to be better than me today. You're gonna have to outshine me today, and you're gonna have to work for it.
Do you grow attached to certain players, and then when they leave, how do you deal with that kind of?
I think I have an attachment to all my players, because if they don't feel attached to you, and they don't feel secure in you, they don't feel confident in you, they're not gonna play for you like you need them to play for you. I try to keep my communication and my connections open, so I do try to still have that relationship with old players. I'm not the one that just, hey, you're not a part of this team no more, or you're not with me anymore, I'm not gonna talk to you. That's not the person that I am. So just treating people like you wanna be treated. I don't want nobody to forget me. I wanna make an impact on people. So that's how I treat that situation.
Anybody else? Are we good? We good? All right. Thank you, Sade.
All right,
Appreciate your
thank you,
time.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.